This is our podcast where we belly flop into the bouncy house of mystery, surrounded by conspiracies and unexplained phenomena, with theories so bizarre they may actually make you say,
"Are they thinking with their butt?" Welcome back, everybody. I'm Katie.
And I'm Chris.
And this is Stop Thinking with Your Butt.
But.
Yes. We hope you all had a lovely week.
We had an amazing week.
How amazing was our week?
Well, I say amazing, but I feel like I was getting into, I get these like side things I like doing. I have a lot of hobbies and so on.
A lot of hobbies.
A lot of nerd related. And I don't know why I haven't got more into voice acting.
You have an amazing voice.
That's what people tell me. So I started doing these TikTok random stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's been fun. And I've just been doing it for fun. And we also have an oldest daughter who also likes doing voice. So she reads everything that's on TV if it's subtitled. And when she's playing in character. And when she plays her game on her computer or whichever, she still voice acts that.
She's very theatrical.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm having a lot of fun. I'm posting a couple things on TikTok so you can watch it, review, or if you need someone, let me know. Yeah, I'm not good.
It's like a sales pitch.
I didn't do a sales pitch. I just it's just for fun.
Yes, but your voice does need to be heard by millions.
They are on this podcast.
They are.
And that's what we're going to talk about. What are we talking about this week?
Well, first we have to talk about our weird, strange, or unusual things that have happened since last week. Which personally, I don't have anything. Do you?
Well, I
have a correction.
Oh, you have a correction?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that I was throwing stupid TikTok videos.
Yeah, you were.
On my voice.
Yeah, you were. So I have to start with my utmost and most sincere apologies. Apparently, the term Irish twins is derogatory and offensive. And I use that.
You use that?
In my Aleister Crowley episode, one of Aleister's mistresses has 2 children within a 12-month calendar year.
Okay.
And I said that that's Irish twins, which
I didn't know what that meant.
It is. So it's when a woman gives birth to 2 children, not twins, within a calendar year. So I'm like, oh no, I didn't mean it to be bad. So I'm like, well, what's a more politically accurate or less offensive term?
Or
Catholic twins?
Just stop.
Or Dutch twins. And I'm like, neither one of these are getting any better.
I'm going to pick a random nationality on the dartboard. And let's just see where this goes.
Yeah.
Indian twins.
No, but apparently Irish twins, I guess, is a common expression. And people often use it to like describe even themselves with like a relationship they have with a sibling. Like me and my Irish twin. Or, so it's not really meant, like I didn't use it in an offensive way. I didn't mean it. Good.
Well, I learned something new every day.
So yeah.
And you, audience, probably learned something new as well.
Yeah, so I'm sorry if I upset anybody in Ireland. I really didn't mean to come across as offensive. But I thought that the other options were just as equally offensive, so I'm not really sure where to go with the information I attained.
Just avoid that whole conversation.
Yeah, let's just move on. Just move on. Okay. So today, I'm going to take you to Devon, England.
Ooh.
We're going to see if we can offend some people there.
No, we got a pretty good listeners in England.
Yeah. No, so this one's for you guys. My UK brethren. We are going to talk about the county of Devon in 1855 and how they received visit from my old college roommate, the devil himself.
Oh, what?
Marshall.
Don't.
I will use the name. I'm not afraid to say the devil's name out loud.
Don't say the last name right.
I'm not going to. This one's about you.
I got personal real quick.
Yeah, it did. Okay. So my sources are Unsolved Mysteries, UK and Ireland Genealogy, David Castleton's The Serpent's Pen, and Vintage News.
Okay. I still don't know what this topic is about.
The setting, I know. I went into this topic really excited to like debunk it.
Okay.
Put some brains in it. I still don't know what to think. I'm excited to get your input.
Well, you mentioned your roommate, but I don't know what the topic is. What is it?
The devil comes to Devon.
Oh, that's just it. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a second there, I actually thought you tried to research your old roommate. And we're going to, I'm like, this is a little personal there.
That B word's probably in jail.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
Probably. Okay.
Tell me more about this devil.
So the setting, we have to get the setting right though first. So the setting is Devon, England, 1855. And you remember how we were out to dinner having a little datey date night, little datey poo, and you asked me where we should move? And I was like, Devon, England.
You did mention that.
And you're like, why? And I'm like, I'll tell you. This is according to an 1841 census. And this is a description that I found in the UK genealogy. It says that it was, at the time, one of the most important maritime counties in the kingdom. It has many seaports, spacious harbors, and noble bays, and the great naval station. On its coasts are many handsome and delightful bathing places, celebrated for their mild and genial climates.
I feel like saying something like, oh, they're high on their fancy flutes with their chips and I don't know, something derogatory, stereotypical
maybe
voice of
insert something stereotypical. It's comprised of 30 market towns, including 9 parliamentary boroughs, and its large and handsome capital, the city of Exeter.
I'm glad people still use boroughs.
Mm-hmm, which is a county of itself. In picturesque beauties, embracing all the associations of hill and dale, wood and water, fertile valleys, elegant mansions, and sylvan parks and pleasure grounds, lofty moorland hills and dells, and extensive land and marine views, it yields to no county in England. So it's like the creme de la creme.
Okay.
It's super beautiful. And it's inhabited by... Let's see. So the county of Devonshire, which is its archaic name. So back in this time, it was called Devonshire. Now they just call it Devon. It was home to more than 500,000 inhabitants, ranging from exuberant manor homes to humble farmsteads. The county consisted of 94,000 occupied houses. And I'm telling you that because it's going to be important later. And then 6,000 unoccupied homes and 900 buildings.
Okay.
I told you the number of houses because it's going to come into play later.
Was there a time frame like when it was in its prime, or is it still in its prime?
I think it's still a growing, beautiful county.
Okay, so it didn't just like
it didn't die off. It wasn't like a gold rush type situation where it bursted and then it just fizzled. It's still, I think it's...
You can still travel there.
Yes,
and not get mugged.
You could still go there and not get mugged. Maybe. I don't know. Our Devon listeners.
Okay,
if you're not currently being mugged, write us in. Let us know. Okay, so now our story can begin. So Devon, England, 1855.
Okay.
It was a dark and stormy night in Devon, England. The usual mild and gentle climate has taken a dramatic turn for the worst. And like many nights in recent months, the temperatures were below freezing. The River Exe and Tyne had iced over.
Mm-hmm.
Sporadic rain was adding layers of ice to the already treacherous conditions, making the landscape even more dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
February 8th, 1855, the night was much of the same, except a storm had rolled in. Amidst a heavy snowfall, the people of Devon remained indoors, protected from the elements, blissfully unaware that the morning would divulge mysterious nighttime lurking.
Okay.
Are you feeling
I'm trying
this?
to think of where this is going.
Are you mentally around the campfire?
Yeah.
Are there crickets in the background?
I feel like it's cold, snowy,
There's an
wet.
owl on your shoulder. You're in it. Okay, continuing. During the night, the snow fell and turned to rain, and boisterous winds left the town in the morning covered in a thick frost. And something else. Oh, are you setting the stage?
Yeah, it's a snowstorm.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so in the morning, a thick frost covers the ground of Devon. So, thick frost and hoofprints.
Hoofprints.
Imprinted in the freshly deposited frost that were unavoidable because these hoofprints not only approached the houses, stopping at windows and doorsteps, but they also traveled in a most uniformed single file pattern along 100-mile path through the towns of Exmouth, Littleham, Lipstone,
How many miles?
Woodbury, Topsham, Starcrest, and Teignmouth, all overnight.
Did you say 100 miles?
100 miles.
That's... And so single file, so it's not side by side.
It's not side by side. It's single file, 1 foot in front of the other.
Oh, okay. I'm already picturing someone on a bike.
Yeah.
Just pedaling. Okay, my bad. I don't want to ruin it.
Single file. They were compared to that of a donkey because each print was that traditional arched print, measured 3 inches wide, 4 inches long, and the gait between steps was between 8 to 16 inches. Curiouser and curiouser that the hoof prints were made in such a manner that the animal or creature who deposited them could only have been walking upright, bipedal.
Well, yeah,
on 2 legs.
And they would have to be a fashion model because they're working it.
They're
front and over front.
Walk, fashion, baby. Yeah. Yeah. In their little donkey shoes. Another interesting note about the owner of these footprints would be that they would have to be capable of jumping great heights and distances, defying gravity, distorting their shape, passing through walls, and disobeying all laws of physical capabilities by either man or animal, all while
juggling
being undetected, juggling chainsaws. So the hoof prints didn't just stick to the roadways and like backyards and gardens and things like that. In a letter sent to the Illustrated London News, a statement comes out that says this regular track passing in some instances over the roofs of houses and haystacks and very high walls, 114 feet, without displacing the snow on either side or altering the distance between the feet and passing on as if the wall had not been an impediment. The gardens with high fences or walls and gates locked were equally visited as those that were unprotected. Now, when we consider the distance that must have been gone over to have left these marks, I must say in almost every garden, on doorsteps, through to the extensive woods of Luscombe, upon commons, in enclosures and farms, the actual progress must have exceeded 100 miles.
Well, a question. So that's an elaborate prank. So the other piece too is, did they find any droppings?
No.
100 miles is a lot for any
droppings.
animals who like.
No droppings. Okay. One of the conflicting details, which I guess it's not really conflicting, but it kind of lost its pizzazz a little bit, is that it wasn't actually like 100 miles per se. It was 40 miles with a lot of like weaving back and forth and backtracking and coming back around and then going up and over. So it comes out to be more than 100 miles, but it's within a 40-mile parameter.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Was it saying if there was like a single path, or was there multiple paths? If that makes sense, like there was sections.
It's a single path. And let's see if I get into it a little bit. A witness account claims that the footsteps had stopped to the entrance of a pipe just 6 inches in diameter, and then they reappeared at the other end of the pipe.
I don't know what to think right now.
Many felt that this had to be supernatural, as no animal large enough to produce such prints could have wriggled through the tube. The prints then seemed to stop at the edge of X estuary, which is a river, a 2-mile wide span of water, and then they casually start back up on the other side. And there's no variation in steps, so it's not like a running leap, and it's not like scuff marks. Yeah. It's like walk, 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 2 miles, walk, walk, walk.
Well, question for you, because we talk about it snowing, right?
Yeah.
And the thing about these paths or footprints is the snow may cover it. So was it snowing constantly and then the people came out like, what is this? Or did it stop snowing for an extended period of time?
So
then,
it had,
does that make sense? Or is it like, no, it was only done in like a 30-minute window?
So it was snowing throughout the night. And so they said that from the night of the 8th to the 9th.
Yeah, it was constantly snowing.
Well, so it had stopped. It had stopped snowing and had turned to like wind and rain and things like that.
Okay.
But still, so it's overnight though. But the weather has stopped. I'm assuming at some point.
Yeah.
So time frame though, I don't know if it was like 6 hours, 8 hours, 30 minutes. I don't know.
Okay, because that would.
It was just saying overnight.
Okay. Not thinking devil yet, but I'm curious. I'm waiting to get. Right now, I'm just thinking random bloke. You know, up on his hippity hop, pogo stick.
You think somebody pogo sticked 100 miles through the English winter?
No, well, I think it was either a bike or those olive pickers where they like are standing on stilts.
Stilts?
We'll figure it out. That's just initial. You haven't elaborated. Just my initial.
Continue to. Yeah. So many of the county's residents were scared, not fully understanding what creature could make such marks without being seen, even having approached many of the houses.
Yeah, but no scratch marks or anything.
No
yet.
Scratches.
Okay.
Yeah. People were not, if not scared, at the very least, concerned. Because these hoof prints were also going up the sides of buildings,
okay,
over rooftops, and they would be walking like through a field where there'd be like a giant haystack. And you've seen some of these like from the movies where it's like the size of a car.
Yeah,
and the footprints would just come up to the haystack and then continue on the other side. So either over or under or through. But no disruption of the hay at all.
What year? What time frame was this?
1855.
Was there like a month?
February.
Okay, because I'm like, I don't know if the town's like Santa's here. I don't even know if you guys celebrate Santa over there.
Damn Donkey Claus.
No, but like a reindeer got loose with the reindeer hoofs.
No.
Well, I guess a hoof is different than a reindeer is completely different than a.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a survivalist. Let's do this. I actually had training.
Yeah. So along this 100-mile treks, a few people like independently had their own thoughts and were like, let's put a hunting group together.
Okay.
So within this 40-mile perimeter, there were several different hunting groups that had decided to take up arms and follow the footprints.
The alphas.
Yeah. all the guys that just were like throwing their weight around.
I know how to kill it.
Yeah.
I'm not scared, no.
Yeah. So some traced the marks for miles and discovered nothing that could explain the tracks.
Quitters.
There's one claim that a local hunting party tracked a mysterious beast to a wood near Dawlish. And the huntsman set the hounds to corner the creature, but the dogs came running back and they were baying and they were terrified.
That would encourage you to keep looking.
So they didn't.
Of course they didn't.
So trying to find the source of the hoof prints is proving to be rather difficult.
I'm an alpha only when it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. You have the donkey tracks. Human steps weren't seen alongside the hoof marks, and it's unlikely that people would have led or ridden a donkey through the night, through the winter, near people's gardens, through churchyards, and across expanse private lands, like
up buildings,
up walls, across the roofs. These theoretical donkeys must have therefore strayed, and several would have had to escape at the same time. Yeah. Because actually, if you watch a donkey walk, they actually do walk pretty straight.
Oh, okay.
It's not one section of these hoof prints. You might be like, oh, okay, it was a donkey.
It's a flying donkey.
But then you get to
Shrek.
Donkey doesn't fly in Shrek. He has a dragon wife.
No, when he was about to get sold, that's what caused him to speak.
Tinkerbell fell on him.
Mm-hmm, and he was a flying donkey.
Yeah. He was the flying donkey. So anyway, there's no way that donkeys could have trotted up walls of houses or slid through narrow pipes.
You must be an investigator, babe.
I am. I'm like a detective. And the creatures are unlikely to have walked on roofs. So, therefore, not a donkey.
Yes.
Possible culprits have ranged from... This is where I'm like, come on, people, be better than this. Swans wearing padded shoes.
Well, you know what? I support that. Because think of this, can't you just think of like all the stupid stuff that we do, like we tie strings to bees and just like have them go, right?
Right.
Can you imagine putting something like that on and just be like as a prank and just let it go loose? Maybe.
Or
a pig.
Okay. Okay. I thought you were going to be like, nope, but you're riding that train. So I'll let you go.
Turning every corner.
You're nuts. Okay. So a swan wearing padded shoes, or a horde of badgers looking for food.
Okay. Like a family or a pack of badgers. Okay.
Yeah. Otters that have been displaced by unnaturally cold weather. An escaped kangaroo, or escaped monkeys. Or a balloon that got loose.
A balloon?
Like a weather balloon that got loose and was dragged.
But that wouldn't explain.
Exactly.
Okay.
So some people have blamed weird weather patterns such as rain or the cold melting and reshaping the existing prints in the snow, making them look like donkey shoe prints, but really they were like pre-existing from people before.
Yeah, because my big thing is for that long and how much weather has been going, it's something that could be simple, could be misinterpreted because it's like airbrushed or something. Okay.
Some sources say a sea monster was at large. Another source goes as far to say that a UFO had visited Devon and was shooting the country. Shooting the county with laser beams to get measurements.
Who's telling you this? What is it, like the 1860 investigation?
1855.
Oh my god. Well, I'm glad they were
they were open-minded back then.
They're everywhere, babe.
They're thinking swans with padded shoes before UFOs.
I'm still supporting the padded shoes.
All right. Some people believe, and this is kind of where you were thinking, that human influence was at play.
Unicycle.
With donkey shoes on it? Going up a wall, over a roof, through a drain pipe?
Well, it didn't go through. It just was at the front end.
And then there was no tracks along the pipe, and then they started again.
Maybe he was in a tiny air balloon, like hot air balloon.
Tiny hot air balloon.
So he just lifts and he floats.
Okay.
Hey, I'm just thinking, just talking words here.
I'm just talking words.
Let's go.
I'm just using letters. Okay. So around this time, they're still there. They're still there today. The Romany gypsies. It's believed that either radical Protestants were trying to frighten people out of their sinful ways by making it look like the devil had come to town.
Yeah, but how would they do it?
Exactly. And then there's others that are saying that the Romany gypsies used stilts.
I don't know that first word that you said, but it sounds derogatory. Romany gypsies?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a type of culture.
Okay. I don't know if you were like putting some random adjective in front of it.
No, that's what it's called. No, I'm not. I'll look it up.
Oh, darn.
Romany. From Romania.
Okay.
Romany.
But is Romany?
Romany colloquially known as Roma. No, it's not derogatory.
Okay, I don't know. You know how nowadays are.
Romany gypsies have been in Britain since 1515.
Okay. So what's the thought on why the gypsy was involved?
Okay, so the theory with the Romany gypsies is that the settlers of the county of Devon were on Romany land.
Oh, okay.
But
I thought gypsies don't have land.
Gypsies are wanderers, so they don't technically
own land.
So
get out of here, you gypsy.
Yeah, so there was thought that the Romany gypsies were on stilts covered in sheets like ghosts, like woo,
exactly,
on
stilts.
ladders.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they specifically said it was like ladders that had a joint in the middle. So they walked like stilts. But then when you got to like the walls and stuff, you'd have to like sit on the wall, lift your ladder over the wall.
Or they have like that handheld peg. They just poke it.
Maybe. On a stick.
On a stick. They're gypsies, so they're probably like circus people, right?
Then maybe. I don't know. That's derogatory.
No, they're part of the trope, right? Musical trope.
But that doesn't account for over rooftops. So, and then as for the account of the hounds being terrified by a sinister creature near Dawlish, there's been suggestions made that they had come across a town imbecile, like the village idiot, who was fond of decking himself in layers of chicken and goose feathers and roaming the woods at night making animal noises.
I'm glad those people existed back there too.
They do. They're here today.
So many here.
So that was found out when a hunting party like came upon them and almost lynched them. And then like it was all like explained.
You just stay doing you.
You just keep doing you, village idiot. Oh, you imbecile. You're adorable. Tuck on the chin.
Hey, as long as you're not harming anyone, you live your life.
So what it all boils down to is that nobody can provide a source for the hoofprints.
Mm-hmm. Did they take pictures or?
So there's drawings. So pictures weren't as common yet, or maybe just they didn't have. But they had drawings, and so this one pastor didn't put his information in my notes because I didn't think it was really that necessary. But he takes witness accounts all over the county, and he saves the letters, and they're refound in I think like. I don't want. They're found after the fact, sure. And it's all the notes with drawings of the hoofprints, and it's still unexplained. And so, there's not one source that can account for any of these.
Did you look at the?
Yeah. Do you want to look at them really quick?
I do.
Okay.
Breaking news! Triangle Coffee Company is out of this world! Take your taste buds on a galactic escapade with caffeinated blends like Roswell and Aurora. Or try the decaffeinated blends Echelon and Area 51. Triangle Coffee Company just might be beaming up the most delectable beverages this side of the cosmos. Visit trianglecoffeecompany.com today and enter STWYB at checkout for 15% off your order. That's trianglecoffeecompany.com, STWYB. No anal probing required to enjoy this otherworldly coffee experience. No cows have been mutilated in the production of this commercial.
So I'm looking at these pictures, and yes, it does look like donkeys walking in a single file line. I guess my question is, or not my question, but I'm looking at a picture and just looking at the town itself. I'm assuming with everyone trying to look, it can get
hectic and chaotic.
And it's this stuff gets warped. So it's almost like a crime scene. But back then, no one cares about crime scenes.
Right.
Right. And it's just like, get away, stop. Let us look at it. And everyone's like, there's now
people are walking over everything. Yeah. So that's what I thought too, except that there was one account that was really fascinating. What?
Yeah. Have you ever seen people spontaneously sing? Like we're just standing there and then all of a sudden I'm singing a tune and then you join my tune and now we're all singing.
Everybody's singing along. It's like mass hysteria, right?
Yeah. Anyone was around there and they saw some hoof marks And then like, I'm going to get some hoof marks. And I'm going to go. And then someone else is like, And you can't say, well, there's no other footprints. Yeah, because it can't be confirmed because it's just a slosh of stuff.
Okay. So one account that I read was from a farmer. And he said that because a lot of people some of the reporters and like newspapers at the time were doing the same thing. They were like, well, like, why are we all freaking out? It's just donkey footprints. Like, what's the big deal? And everybody was like,
where's the poop? Where's the poop?
And everybody's like, well, okay. They're like, okay, look, these are chicken tracks. Got it. Those are raccoon tracks. Check. Those are deer track. Check. There's footprints all over the place. They're like, check. These don't make sense. Mm-hmm. And so they were even talking about like footprint, like other footprints places. And they were like, those are people tracks. Yeah. They're like, we get it. These, what we're talking about, are not those. So they weren't being like hysterical about it. They were actually putting thought and logic behind it, trying to explain. So, which is good. They weren't like witches. Yeah. They weren't like
the devil visited us.
Well, well, that's the only explanation.
Is it?
That they...
I want to hear more. I need more to be convinced that the devil stopped by. Not a drunken goat.
Yeah. So, if it was a group of badgers, how did they get through the drain pipes? If it was mice, how did they make prints that big over that big of an area?
Yeah, it looked like a donkey.
Yeah. If donkeys, how come up walls? So it was like each section, like within certain sections, look, it's like, okay, this section of prints could have been a donkey. This section of prints maybe could have been a swan wearing padded shoes. This set of prints maybe could have been a Romany gypsy with a sheet over their head on a ladder with a hinge.
They all did it at the same time.
They all, yeah. Another source said that it took 18 months of planning by the gypsies to pull off this hoax, and it's all like disproven.
Well, was there a greater good? Not a greater good, but like,
did
someone come up and say, well, this is what happened, so repent, or get off my land?
There was really no
one claimed it, or
nothing
one suspected
after this.
Anything?
It was not the churches didn't come out and say, come all ye sinners.
The devil's here.
The devil's here. The people didn't say, we better move off the land. The devil's here. It was just, okay, well, let's stop going out after night.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear more.
Yeah. So.
You got me hooked.
Sorry, babe, that's it.
Oh, okay.
Episode
complete.
Episode complete. There's never been an answer. So this phenomenon has been ongoing for 167 years, and it's still a mystery. Nobody knows what it was.
Well, did it ever? Well, let's ask some questions.
Okay, ask some questions. Let's go.
Did it ever come back?
Yes.
See, boom. Okay. Enlighten us.
Well, okay, so here we go.
I don't want to ruin your flow.
Yeah, I was like, let me see what my flow has.
But you're kind of like, I'm done. I'm like, oh, okay.
No, well, I'm not done. So there's other things. So it did come back to Devon. Over the next couple days, it was repeated in smaller sections.
Oh, okay.
But nothing to this extent. Mm-hmm. And nothing to this extent since. Although, the devil's footprints, as they're being called, have been found other places. Such as Germany, Maine, North Carolina.
Tell me more about those.
Canada. I don't have a lot of information on those because they weren't documented.
How do you know they happened then?
There's like pictures of footprints in rocks.
In rocks?
Yeah, in rocks. So one of the interesting theories. Oh, this is another one. I liked learning this, but I don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
It's just one of those things I'm just going to keep in my pocket.
Okay.
Is that one of the theories is that it wasn't the devil.
Well, yeah.
But it was a demon named, I have to look up how to say this really quick because I'm going to mess it. It's only 4 letters, but I'm going to get it wrong. Pure. And we just looked up how to pronounce that, so I know I nailed it.
Nice.
Pure. Buer has the head of a lion.
Okay.
And 5 goat legs surrounding his body, which allows him the ability to walk in any direction. And he looks like a pinwheel.
Okay, that matches.
So like a lion's head and then 5 goat legs.
That's my original, like him on a bike.
Like a bike.
I'm glad you mentioned the pinwheel because when you said he had 5 goat legs, I was thinking like you've been to these farms and they're like the 5-legged goat leg,
no,
and it's
not
like
a mutant.
It's just like a limp.
It's literally like if you took a coin and rolled it on its edge.
Perfect.
That's what it is.
Perfect.
That's what Buer is.
How many? What else? What other demonology do you know?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked.
I want to know more because you just told me it's not the devil, but all of his demons going out there.
One of his demons. And so actually,
why would a demon visit?
That's what I wanted to know.
Was it summoned?
No, I don't know.
Was it close to the Loch Ness?
I don't know. I looked it up. I'm like, ooh, what is Buer? Like, what's his
Thing.
What's his game?
His business.
Yeah. I was like, what's his business? Couldn't really find anything to like validate why it would be him. Pinwheel, like a pinwheel. So there's no real reason why this demon or the devil himself would wander the streets of Devon, but this isn't the first time that hoofprints have been spotted like this. So I was saying all those other places. So one is 15 years before this in Scotland. And the account is quoted as among the high mountains of that elevated district were, oh, gosh, I'm so sorry, Scotland, Glenorchy, Glenlyn.
You're not saying it with a Scottish accent.
Glenorchy.
Oh my God. I'm sorry for everyone who has to listen to this.
I can't do it. It's just going to get offensive. Okay. There have been met with several times during this and also the former winter. So the 15 years prior and then the year before that also. Tracks of an animal seemingly unknown at present in Scotland. The print of the foot in every respect is an exact resemblance of that of a foal of considerable size, with the small difference perhaps that the sole seems a little longer or not so round. But as no one has had the good fortune as yet to have attained a glimpse of this creature, nothing more can be said of its shape or dimension, only it has been remarked from the depth to which the feet sink in the snow that it must be a beast of considerable size. It has also been observed that its walk is not like that of any generality or quadrupeds, but that it is more like the bounding or limping of a hare when not scared or pursued.
Well, here's the thing, right? If you have a demon that's wandering the streets, normally demons, I say normally as if like this is a common occurrence. Normally. No, but like I would assume there would be some type of tragic event in that area or that time, or great, the great darkness that happened.
Or like a plague beseeches the town.
Yeah, or like a couple of people get possessed or bad things happened. Or did they have good fortune? Or do they prosper?
I don't know. Nothing ever say.
Okay, so
it is not in one locality, only that its tracks have been met with, but through a range of at least 12 miles.
Okay.
So that was in Scotland. And the devil's footprints have also been seen in other places like Germany during the 1840s, Italy, Maine, North Carolina, and more.
Do you know if they have any type of superstition? Like because of that, they're like, don't, like they tell the children to be good, or the, pinwheel demon will get you.
Or Buer will get you.
Buer will get you. And take you out.
Take you out. On a date. To the carnival.
On a spin.
So what do you think?
Okay, well.
What could it be?
Well, I think I said everything I think it could be. I think reality.
Okay, logically, what is it?
Logically, I think it was misinterpretations and people jumping to conclusions. And with all the weather and how that impacts tracks, I think the facts piece, I wouldn't trust the facts, if that makes sense. Because when we say, well, it never got connected or it never lost, there was no gap in it. Right. Well, that's with the weather and the pictures I saw of the city. There had to be a lost track of some sort. So I think when you make it seem more fantastical, it may not be. I don't know. I've seen a lot of random footprints and so on. And I just imagine, especially with that weather, and I just think of like muddy and everything. It's just.
So there's a movie actually, and I wonder now if it was based off of this incident. It's called Dark Was the Night. It's one of those slow burns. Mm-hmm. Apparently I like slow burns. I didn't know that about myself. But it's a similar instance where the town wakes up and there's footprints in the snow. It turns out to be creatures that get pushed out of the woods. Anyway, it's a very good movie, but if you want to see similarly what a town had experienced, you can watch at least the intro to that movie. Anyway, I thought that was very fascinating. So I went into this topic. I really wanted to be like, come on, people of Devonshire. It was really a raccoon dragging a bucket of chicken wings.
I was actually expecting like demon and possession to be happen, like wrath.
Afterwards. That would have been cool.
Will it be cool? That's a little dark.
Okay. It's cool when it's fictional, I guess.
That just would have been good continuity from what we saw. I think that's why it's so mysterious, is that there was no rhyme or reason behind it. No big follow-up. No punchline.
The devil walked through Devonshire and...
It was disappointing.
So apart from it being a gypsy on a pogo stick poking at walls with a donkey shoe on a stick, to me, the fact that you can't find poop, that's a big indicator too. I don't know why you're really hung up on poop, but
no, because if you're a person, you're not going to poop on the trail. If you're an animal, or I don't know, whatever demons eat, you're going to poop.
I feel like a benefit of being a demon would be that you don't poop.
Yeah. So it's either demon or gypsy.
Or gypsy on a pogo stick with a hoof on a stick.
Man.
I don't know. That was my I really wanted to come out with like a solid conclusion. Like I feel like, okay, this is what it was. I really don't know.
So it remains a mystery. I'm wondering, I want to hear from people who are in England in that area.
So one of the more recent case studies that someone has gone back through, I think it was like 1971, a researcher and historian went back through and was like, I'm going to disprove it. I'm going to figure out what it was.
Yeah.
And they kind of came to the same conclusion. It had to be like all these things working, this like clown car of swans and gypsies and
I think
badgers and mice.
So
all working
in tandem,
in harmony.
So I don't think it's the badgers and whichever. I think it's a troop of people, whether it's for a prank, whether it's the Protestants or the gypsies, whoever. I think you can get enough and go around and make footprints and so on and go on opposite ends and so forth as a big prank. But for what, who knows? It's wintertime in England in 1855. What else do people have better to do?
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's, and then because there's a little bit of normal wear and tear just from the weather, even though it potentially was done by multiple people, it could look or perceived to be one continuous.
If it was, and that's so, okay, problem.
Pranked.
I think maybe prank could be a culprit. However, if it was, because one person can't travel 100 miles overnight in the winter.
Yeah.
So it'd have to be more than one person. Chances are like a dozen.
Easy.
Okay. How do a dozen people go on stilts, go unnoticed? Because still no human footprints.
Because it's at night or it's wintertime. No one, or it's there's some winter storm going on. No one wants to be outside.
You don't think that anybody would have looked out the window? Not one person got up to go use the outhouse. Not one person got up to like.
Whoa, are you saying there's no indoor plumbing in the 1855s?
Not in some of probably the homesteads, the farmlands.
I am going to assume that they're advanced enough to have that.
Okay, well, maybe they were.
They're not in the homestead of like the country.
Right. Like
this is like Devon.
Yeah.
This is like the metropolis.
Assuming nobody of these 90,000 plus homes woke up to see anything. 500,000 residents. No one saw anything.
But that's the thing. 500,000. That's huge. That's why I'm not. I think it's too. I think it's pranked.
Ka-pranked.
All right,
anyway,
so that's my takeaway.
I thought it was fun and interesting.
It is interesting. I
wanna write us in. Tell us what you think. Tweet at us. Tell us what you think.
The more interesting thing was the picture of the demon.
Yeah, we'll post that in the show notes.
Who even comes up with demon names? That's what I want to know.
Well, I was doing so now I have to do a whole episode on demonology because I'm like, what?
You can't use this first. You got to do demonology and then be like, boom. Okay.
So
awesome.
Future episodes will determine why Buer was rolling around the Devonshire.
Interesting. So now we need to visit it.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to stopthinkingwithyourbutt@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram @stopthinkingwithyourbutt. You can look us up on Twitter @stopthinkingwyb. You can follow Chris doing his crazy voice acting stuff on TikTok. And you can support our show at Ko-fi.
Yep, it's all on the link tree
attached to our show.
Attached to all of our show. So appreciate it. And stay curious.
And stop thinking with your butt.
Out. Maybe he was in a tiny air balloon, like hot air balloon.
Tiny hot air balloon.
So he just lifts and he floats.